Thank you for joining our webinar today. We've got an exciting session for you, focused on sharing the latest and greatest from Microsoft on the Power Platform. Let's get started. My name is Annie Levand, and I'm with a Microsoft Gold partner called Projility. We've been implementing Microsoft project and portfolio management solutions and delivering enterprise-level applications for over 18 years for large enterprises, including everything from engineering, construction, IT, and new product development. PMOs and CIOs typically come to us when they can't easily explain what's going on across all their projects, they don't know what resources are working on what work, and they have a hard time getting consistent reports and metrics to make project-based decisions. We're known for having a 98% on time, on budget track record for successfully implementing these solutions for clients. We offer services and solutions in 3 core areas: deployment and consulting services, Projility's core business. We provide professional services for successfully planning and implementing Microsoft Project Portfolio Management, including Microsoft Project Online, integrating PPM with line of business applications, and delivering strategic portfolio management solutions to support top-level management planning. We also have a growing Power Platform practice. We are actively working with clients to build applications, workflows, and reports to automate their most important business processes. Projility also offers a set of pre-built software solutions and accelerators based upon 18 years of experience, including a set of hammerhead products that provide improved access to your cloud PPM data, accelerate access to visual reports and dashboards using Power BI, connect data between your PPM system with Microsoft Teams, and extend connectivity into Active Directory to improve visibility, insight, and control of your work, people, and projects. Finally, Projility provides implementation support services, including expert care, designed to assist your PMO with gaining on-demand expertise on the solution supported. We have a full online automated e-learning offering that can improve consistency and adoption for your users of your project management tools. We have upcoming webinars covering sessions on best practices for project and PPM processes and tools. Our next session will be held in January, focused on showing you how new product development organizations can leverage Microsoft PPM technology to improve visibility, insight, and control and workflow around their product-centric projects. That will be followed by a newly updated session in February based upon some recent Microsoft announcements. Microsoft's project for the web solution will be merging with Microsoft Planner, which is an exciting change. In this webinar, we'll be focusing on what the solution means for enterprises and how it affects both Office 365 and the Microsoft Power Project platform. All virtual webinars will start at 1 p.m. Eastern. You can register for these events through the Eventbrite link provided or by searching Eventbrite Projility in your browser. Hope you can join us for these upcoming sessions. All videos from this and previous series are available on our best practice playlist on YouTube listed on this page. Topics range from managing your digital transformation program using PPM technologies to integrating PPM with agile line of business applications. Feel free to subscribe and access this library at any time and share with your colleagues. If you have any questions as you watch the presentation, please log them in the questions and answer manager at the top of your team screen, and we'll review those towards the end of our session. With that, I'll hand the presentation off to Rob Hirschman, partner here at Projility. Rob, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Annie, and thanks everyone for joining. This session is really focused on the Microsoft Power Platform and the different value it can provide to different enterprises. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with talking a little bit about why the Power Platform is important to large enterprises, what it is all about, and talk through some of the trends we're starting to see out there from a growth and adoption perspective that are really driving organizations, whether it's government agencies or corporations, to move towards a Power Platform type of an approach. We'll talk about the different components and then start to break it up into the 6 pillars of the Microsoft Power Platform in terms of the business impact it can have on your organization. Artificial intelligence, what is it about AI and how is that going to impact what Microsoft is offering? It's going to have a huge impact over the next year. And we're going to talk about what we see that being. And finally, at the end, we'll answer some questions if you want to put them in the Q&A manager, as well as give you some resources to be successful. Let's talk a little bit about the Power Platform and what it's all about. The demand, we're seeing surging digital demand across many enterprises. Analysts today are estimating the world will create over 500 million new applications in the next 5 years. And that's actually more than was created in the last 40 years. So there's going to be really applications and apps everywhere to address different business challenges, different problems, whether you're in a commercial facing organization, whether you're in a government agency, there's going to be the ability to actually deploy apps to automate your processes and collect more data. And this gives you an opportunity to really do automation around the work we have today and digitize as much as we have. So we talk about kind of really the need to build more apps and the fact that a lot of the things we do today manually are going to become a lot more digital based on the current technology. You can see there's going to be a surge in demand for different kinds of new applications and a platform for that. And Microsoft sees this. They also identified there's a challenge around developers. It not only comes on the demand side, people wanting applications, but also on the supply side. There's an estimated 4 million developer shortfall in our supply of qualified developers needed to build solutions by 2025, 2 years out. That's a huge number. And most organizations today are finding it really hard to retain and hire technical talent. These are some of the questions that have been answered before. How do I attract talent in a tight labor market, and how do I meet the needs of the business at the same time from a technology perspective? So there's a struggle to hire and a limited amount of resources. So what Microsoft and a lot of organizations like Microsoft are looking to do, what do we do about it? It's not really practical to teach everybody to write code, but it is possible to provide a technology base with a moderate code solution that allows business users to build their own applications while IT is addressing the more pressing enterprise needs. So you've got kind of the limited needs of a standalone user, and then you've got the enterprise needs of a business or a government agency. So you can kind of see that really accelerating the development skills of existing developers, but also putting tools in the hands of the business users is pretty powerful in these new, what they call makers, or people that are going to design and make applications. And so, when we look at it, if you're a professional developer, an IT administrator, maybe a business analyst, or even a non-technical employee, the concept of low-code development really empowers people to create solutions at different levels that are fast, that are secure, and that are all compliant. And that's really what the basis of the Power Platform is giving people at these three different levels the ability to write applications and author that. So, why would somebody look at the Power Platform? Why is a low-code approach important? And there are really four key benefits we're finding a lot of organizations are looking to see. The first one is improving that employee experience, accelerating the application business process development, reducing some of your costs. You think about getting people involved in the process of designing their own applications. That can reduce your costs a lot because you don't have as high a development cost, because then you're sharing some of the burden of actually the development with some of the business folks that are actually on board, and they can own and tweak their own applications going forward. You start to look at it as a secure, scalable application development platform. It really improves your security posture and platform, so you can manage the overall application lifecycle seamlessly. With people needing a lot more applications, you have to centralize that security and centralize the access, and putting it in a safe, secure platform is really, really important. It also enables people to more comfortably develop and build applications. And finally, on the far right, what we call effortless integration extensibility, being able to take the apps you have and have them touch other applications or other data you have to be best in class, to deliver a best in class experience, no matter what tool you're using. And this all gets even better within the Azure set of services that are out there. That's really going to help you centralize all this in a Microsoft platform. So, Microsoft is rated today by the analysts, Gartner, Forrester, Meta, as leaders in the space of low-code app development, of process automation, definitely in the area of analytics and business intelligence, but also in developer tools and now cloud AI. So you put these things together, and Power Platform really becomes the glue for it all. So let's talk about the different components that make up the Power Platform today. Power Apps, the first one that's in purple. The Microsoft Power Apps is a suite of applications, services, and data platforms that allow users to quickly build custom applications. Users can then create mobile versions and web-based applications with little or no code. Those apps can then interact with different data sources in different ways within Office 365 and outside of Office 365. And today there are two kinds of Power Apps. The first is called a model-driven app, which is based around an existing framework Microsoft provides that makes it relatively easy for people to build and deploy business applications. The second type of a Power App is called a Canvas app, which is more of a traditional custom application development, where you can literally build and customize whatever you want. There's not a framework, it's more of a canvas where you would paint exactly what you want, almost a blank sheet of paper. There are pluses and drawbacks to each of the types of the Power Apps. We're not going to cover those today. We just wanted to give you an introduction to it. We'll definitely cover that in an upcoming session. The second component of the Power Platform is Power Automate, the blue arrow there. This is formerly known as Microsoft Flow, and it's a software as a service platform delivered by Microsoft and Office 365 for automation of recurring tasks. It allows users to easily create and automate different workflows via browser or desktop toolkit to allow different systems and processes to touch one another and be automated. The next one down is called Power Virtual Agents, which you see kind of in the tealy green. Power Virtual Agents let users create powerful chatbots that can be inserted into different applications and answer questions posted by your customers, your employees, and your visitors, whether they're coming to a website or an internal application. These bots can be created easily without the need for any kind of data science help or development help as well. And over time, they're going to learn, and that's where we start to pull AI in. Power Pages, which is in the other purple here, is a secure enterprise-grade low-code software as a service platform for creating, hosting, and administering modern, externally facing business application websites. So think of that as the web component of the Power Platform. Power BI, most people are already familiar with, is Microsoft's business analytics service that helps users visualize and share data insights. It combines the application, the software, and the connectors to turn data from different sources into dashboards and business intelligence reports. Most people are already familiar with the Power BI, as it's a tool a lot of folks use every day to report on their current systems. Behind all of this is what's called the Microsoft Dataverse database. This is a cloud-based database in Office 365 that is used to store and access data from these applications, and it is also a data management solution that lets users store and manage data for different business applications. This was previously called the Common Data Service, or the CDS. These applications and databases make up what's called the Microsoft Power Platform. Having access to them allows you to not only build and deploy your own apps, automate processes, build websites, and deploy bots and reports, but also interact with different systems you have in place today, such as SAP for your ERP system. Maybe you use Salesforce for CRM or customer relationship management. Maybe you've got Workday for HR, or your Oracle Financials or Oracle HR system. Maybe you're using Dynamics. Well, these technologies can all be tapping into data that's in those core systems, and then you can build and extend that using some Microsoft components, such as the data connectors, which let you connect data between different applications, the Dataverse, which is that database we talked about, the AI Builder, which lets you build artificial intelligence components within this entire platform, and Power FX, which is another querying engine. So it really is the core for touching, building, and accessing business systems, but building your own business applications and processes. Okay. And there are 6 key pillars of the Power Platform. What we're going to do is dig into each of these to explain what they are, how they could positively impact your organization, and move your organization forward from a digital business perspective. We'll talk through application modernization, the ability to extend your line of business systems, providing power for your professional developers, but also enhancing the employee experience throughout the lifecycle. We'll also talk about how these tools can empower your departments to be more efficient and effective, and optimize with what we call hyper automation, which is really a next step in the automation process. Below all of this, you're going to see a thread of artificial intelligence, AI, and overall governance. So you make sure it's safe, it's secure, it's controlled, but you're giving users what they need. So let's start with application modernization. And we look at taking applications you have today, whether it's in an antiquated application, something like a custom application you've built, or maybe it's in some other platform, and doing one of 3 things with that. So most organizations we look at are really looking to replace, rebuild, and refactor their applications. Replacing is where you're using or converting an application you have on-premise or in the cloud into a software as a service solution. And that's where you're going to take something you have and really improve on it. Rebuilding is converting something you have in place today into something that's in Azure as a platform as a service application of some kind. And then refactoring is taking something you have in place today and making it better and optimizing it by leveraging the Microsoft platform and starting to improve efficiency, improve effectiveness. And you can kind of think about these different components as you go through your entire life cycle. There are other components to it. If you're retiring applications, you're obviously sunsetting those. And if you're not making a change, or you're just rehosting it somewhere else, that can be hosted in Azure, or it's going to remain on-premise. So if we look at kind of that middle tier where Power Apps is really applicable, it's the replace, rebuild, and refactor, which is about 75% of all the activities we typically find most enterprises are looking to address today. Yeah. And so we start to look at this. How do we build and update solutions at scale? Well, at first, on the far left, we're going to develop these solutions at scale to free up our limited professional developers the resources we have and enable them to work on mission critical applications by giving business users more powerful tools to do their jobs and actually tweak and build applications that may be in place. You're also going to want to build solutions where what Microsoft calls where you work, to adapt, to save money, to build scalable solutions and solve your greatest business challenges, but also the ability to create externally facing websites. A lot of times you have employees that want to touch data or touch systems or have users come in and interact with them in different ways. Wouldn't it be a great way to do this through automated creating websites that are externally facing versus having to go and write HTML code? So you'll see the data at the bottom that 87% of the CIOs and IT professionals are saying today, agreeing that low code is a very useful tool set for helping their organizations modernize what they have today. So looking at the Power Platform as a low code or modest code tool set can be really helpful for moving these things forward. We then move on to the second pillar, which is extending line of business systems. And this is really all about taking existing applications you have and leveraging the data in them. It's not replacing them, it's accessing them and getting more data from them. We talk about building at the top, low-code applications, workflows, websites, chatbots, and dashboards that deliver access to this data where it's meaningful to make core business decisions. You can also look at automating processes that go across your different business systems without a need for complex code or digital robotic process automation. You can start to automate some of these processes and make it much more electronic and digital versus having to go in there and write code against each application. It also allows your users to be more empowered, better empowered to work wherever they work, to take the data and surface it into applications. If you can imagine taking SAP data, taking your HR data, and taking CRM data, bringing it together in a set of reports or applications where you can go in and mine that data in real time. And by the way, deliver that through a Teams UI experience. Wouldn't that be pretty useful in a tool people use every day? And finally, it allows you to leave those systems where they are and keep their data safeguarded. So your mission critical data isn't at risk of getting hacked into in any way. To support your core business processes with the security and the governance tools you have today, but accessing that data and giving people access to the different components of it people need to do their jobs. Some of the benefits we start to see of this, you start looking at improving your processes and your user experience against systems like an SAP, like an Oracle, like a Salesforce. Get more out of the tools and investments you already have. Allows you to extend your core systems and applications with flows and external websites and chatbots to give people access to it wherever they are on whatever device they have. And you also start to get more out of the investments you have, but provide a more modern interface, a more modern solution, more seamless. Again, you look at the stats here, 89% of CIOs say it's also very useful, low code and no code, if more effectively increasing efficiency across your enterprise. So that's another reason to look at the Power Platform. But we also look at empowering the people that are going to develop a lot of your core applications, those professional developers. And those are the people in your community that are app devs, that are working to develop new applications, update and enhance existing applications you have today. And for them, there's a lot of value there. The first value point is it can reduce the time and effort needed to create new solutions. By using these low-code tools, they don't have to take months and months to develop a solution. They can take weeks. Sometimes it's hours to tweak things as well. It enables faster, more agile time to market. It allows those developers to extend and integrate solutions they have with professional development tools, using tools they already have and use today. And finally, it helps them maintain the governance and controls because they're using a consistent set of tools, a consistent set of processes. They're not kind of pulling one-off apps here and there. They're building on a common platform. And the combination of the Power Platform and Azure, we've seen can help reduce costs by over 24% due to increased developer efficiency, increasing developer operations efficiency, that entire lifecycle management, and reducing the spending on any third-party solutions, plugins you may have to go out there and buy. You can develop a lot of that yourself. What does this integrated experience look like for your developer community? Well, we're talking about creating a fully integrated experience for developers to build, interact, and expand on solutions, apps, and processes across your business. The Power Platform really becomes the basis for all of this work, and it starts to extend out to support other Microsoft Azure services. We look at things like analysis services for tapping into data sources, API management if you're going to start touching different applications or data sources you have. Look at like Azure Logic apps for actually putting business processes on the back end to move data around. Things like cognitive services, but also down at the bottom, the Microsoft Graph, which is starting to look across all of your data in Microsoft Office 365 to start to surface that and make it more useful. We're looking at the Cosmos DB, even tools like LinkedIn, which Microsoft owns now, if you start to look at user profiling, employer profiling. Finally, on the far right, developers can continue working in the tools they know They have experience in doing the work they do today, but get more power out of those tools, whether it's Visual VSTS, whether it's Visual Studio or GitHub for their development collaboration. They're going to be able to continue using the professional development tools and leverage the Power Platform as a part of that. So think of this as really something that really makes a developer's life easier and allows you to scale the development people, resources, and teams you have today. One of the key goals of having a platform like this is really to help enhance the employee experience. And that's about improving how people work in your organization, the processes they're going to follow, the apps they use, and the tools they use on an everyday basis. The Power Platform is going to add value here in three ways. We first look at on the far left, the ability to connect into internal and external data sources. A lot of times employees want to touch data from different systems. They want to look at data from the HR system, data from the hiring system, pull data from another source, have it from another data warehouse, so they can decide and make decisions fast instead of having to kludge together spreadsheets of information. It's going to help improve communication, improve their focus, and help with collaboration. They're going to have tools and apps designed to help them do their jobs every day. And imagine if they can run those tools and teams through Microsoft Teams and Office 365, tools they're already familiar with every day. It's going to make their lives easier. And finally, at the end of the day, you're going to simplify their work. Today, you're giving fewer people more work to do. They're responsible for more activities in our current environment, but by giving them applications that meet them where they are and give them the data they need, they can make decisions and move on to the next task and move on to the next task. Their experience is going to be improved. They're going to be able to spend less time in the office doing purely administrative things and more time making business decisions and making good decisions for your organization. And here's another statistic here from the low code report from last year. The use of no code and low code platforms or applications has led to an 83% positive impact on work satisfaction overall. Your employees are just going to be happier because they're going to have better tools to do their jobs. So what does this look like for an employee? Apps that are built will deliver well integrated experiences for employees so they can continue working in environments and tools they know. And you talk about the tools they know today. Microsoft Office 365. Maybe they're comfortable in Microsoft Outlook and you want to deliver that information through an Outlook UI. They're comfortable using tools like SharePoint or Microsoft Teams, Microsoft Forms they're used to as well. Can you imagine if you could build an application that allows someone in HR to easily mine data from a SharePoint application on new hires, access reports on a new hire checklist from Power BI, collect forms-based data in Microsoft Teams for internal team feedback, and provide form experiences for new employees or onboarding, all in one environment. And it's all centrally managed and governed and is secure. It's just an example how the Power Platform can really enable access to data and familiar tools. Now, how does the Power Platform do this? Well, it has connectors and it allows team members to go in and connect into different data sources and define what they want. Users can unify data across all the business processes and create applications and workflows to move data efficiently across different departments and divisions. They can easily connect their data, provide access to more than 350 data sources that are out there in the Microsoft market today for tapping into out of the box systems like SAP, Workday, Salesforce, as we mentioned. This platform allows for seamless connectivity and hybrid connectivity as well. It allows for to simplify complex data projects. You can use the Dataverse, which is the big database in the cloud, with Power Apps, which sits in front of it, to store and secure different types of data across your organization. You can build applications with that data. You can deploy those applications in different ways. You don't need advanced data experience to do this work. And finally, you can work toward getting a single source of the truth across your entire organization. As you start to standardize on use of the Dataverse in Office 365, your data comes through a common data model. It's easier to build and run applications. And you've got Dynamics 365 applications built on top of this as well, all with enterprise class security. So think of it as really a way to extend and touch other systems, processes, and tools you have from an employee perspective. But if you start to raise it up to a higher level, Power Apps can also help empower business departments and groups to be a lot more efficient and effective in several different ways. The first way is by really accelerating the developers and the business users to bring solutions to market faster and put safeguards around those in place so you make sure that those are safe and secure. You can trust that your businesses and departments are going to start building solutions with less effort. They're not going to go outside your chain of command, swipe a credit card and get a third-party application in where the data is sitting in a data center you don't have control over. And with the next generation of all this, AI and Copilot are going to come in to allow people to quickly ask questions, develop applications, and get answers in your enterprise in a safe, secure AI environment using natural language. Finally, you're going to be able to keep IT in control of the situation. IT is going to be able to, you reduce the risk of this shadow IT of people going out and building their own applications on an external platform because IT isn't responsive or doesn't give us what we need, or I'm going to go buy an application, a web-based app that's 20 bucks a user a month thinking I'm going to solve a problem. When at the end of the day, it's actually creating new problems for your enterprise. And you can see here from the statistics again, more than 80% of the users and potential users of the applications said they'd be much more willing to work for a company or an organization that invests in technical upskilling in these different areas. So it's something people want in their jobs. And finally, Power Platform enables us to really optimize our business processes with something called hyper automation, which means taking your procedures and processes to a whole nother automation level. And this may be further downstream for a lot of organizations that are just starting to get started with automation right now. But if you can start to think about the business challenges you can solve even faster. Imagine if you could do drive interactions, like you issue an RFP, drive interactions with Q&A through chatbots, learn through AI, and pull this all together into one place. Great way to think about using these tools. You can drive a culture of automation that supports a true transformation of your business, your organization. It also supports your ability to scale this automation and do more with less while having IT as the drivers for all of the compliance, the security, all the controls behind the scenes. So we're really talking about driving to the next level. And you can see the statistic here from IDC that by 2025, 60% of organizations will capitalize on this disruption with enterprise-wide automation, leveraging some of these models, these centers of excellence and no and low code platforms. So it's happening and it's going to be happening over the next 2 to 3 years. Might as well jump on board and start to leverage it because it's something you have access to in Office 365. I'm sure most of you have heard the announcements about Microsoft Copilot, which is Microsoft really teaming with OpenAI. This is really where Copilot comes into play. Copilot is Microsoft's AI platform that's going to go across all of its applications going forward, all of its platforms, and all of the development tools. Copilot really can help you drive a couple of things. It can help accelerate and simplify development for everybody. Imagine if you've got a solution that someone could type something in everyday normal English language, Copilot would create it for you on this Power Platform. That's where all of this is headed. So you may have business users that want to build an application, but IT is not available. What if you could go into Copilot, plug that in, and Copilot would help them build that application? So, Copilot is going to be very useful initially in a couple of different areas in AI. The first one on the left is really for developers, the people that are developing applications in IT. It's Copilot with Power Platform is going to allow those developers to work faster. It's going to automate a lot of their processes, everything from the development of the code to the testing of the code. It's going to provide what we call generative AI templates for different kinds of work you do or different kind of applications you develop. It's going to look for those kind of trends in your enterprise and make suggestions in that area and be much more proactive with helping developers make their jobs easier and develop more. And finally, it's going to have AI-assisted data integration. It's going to allow developers to more easily touch different sources of data as it learns from other work in the organization. That learning is going to be applied to future applications. On the right, it's also going to make things better and easier for your end users. Right now, there's AI-generated analytics. So you can go into Power BI, go into Insights, and ask questions, and it's going to generate different answers based on that. What if Power BI could come to you with those generated answers on a weekly or a daily basis, send you a status report, says, by the way, you might want to look at these 3 factors. It looks like they're different from last week. It's going to help you generate answers. Hey, I'm really wondering how I do this in IT or finance or HR. AI is going to help you generate through chat. And finally, generative actions, where all this is headed as well, help you act on things to make business decisions and go forward with things. Write me an email that does this, or respond in this way, or build me a PowerPoint based off the data that's in this report in this system. AI is going to help you pull all that together. So it's going to make life a lot easier and make people a lot more efficient from an end user perspective. And we start looking at, what does this next generation look like for AI developers? On the left, you can see what we call rapid upskilling. If you can imagine going into an assistant that's going to learn from applications you've built before and generate an app for you, generate a bot for you, generate a Power Automate flow for you in an automated way. So you don't have to spend the next 3 or 4 hours doing it. You can spend the next 3 or 4 minutes, QA it, and then make it go live. It's going to help your developers in the middle develop applications faster in the Power Platform by auto-generating working websites, create data reports based off data you have in your environment, and do more with that natural language search and query. And finally, on the right, it's going to help you streamline data integration. Things like drag and dropping data sources. Hey, take data from Excel, take data from SAP and Salesforce. By the way, some of the data over here in the Dataverse or my data warehouse, move it into a Power App, and Copilot will help develop that for your developers. And these are things that are not only on the table, they're in progress now. They're all in beta and they're being rolled out. So this is real stuff that's happening within the Microsoft platform. And we look at Copilot in action, it can really help bring ideas you have to life through automated development, AI-driven automated development, where you go in and you literally describe what you want in a sentence, and Copilot will build your flow for you. This is a great way to use that OpenAI codex. It's coming over from OpenAI, and this is a descendant of the GPT Model 4. It's going to translate natural language into software code. So Microsoft has been obviously in the application development space for almost 35 or 40 years. You can talk about this taking it to a whole nother level to automatically generate expressions and formulas based off of information that's stored in AI in your environment that's safe and secure. So you look to the future really is about this platform and AI coming into it, both from a user perspective and from a developer perspective. But what about safety and security? You may be thinking, this is really great stuff, but how do I put this into my business or my organization? It'll just create more trouble and problems. We already have a way we do this stuff. That would be true if you didn't have to support what you believe is an industry-leading set of security, governance, and compliance around the Power Platform. So what Microsoft has done is they built in capabilities for security, compliance, and governance that give you and your organization full control of the applications and all the data you're using to run your business. Whether you've got someone in the business that's developing an application in a Power App, maybe a model-driven Power App to access data from human resources, or you want to restrict access just to certain people to access this application or report, or maybe you have a desire to approve any application before it goes into production, you're going to have full control over this environment, the data connections, and have a history of all this from a compliance and auditing perspective. So the framework is all in place to support this. And as Microsoft goes down the road of AI, it'll really be not only intelligent AI, but secure AI moving forward. Microsoft being synonymous with security, and the Power Platform is really no different than that. Whether it's a low-code solution deployed by a business user or an enterprise-grade app that's developed by one of your developers, it's all safe, secure, and governable. Microsoft has a concept in something they call managed environments, which is really the latest capability to roll out in the Power Platform at a scale. What managed environments do, they provide more visibility, more control, and require less effort to run at scale. Today we've got clients that tend to have thousands of apps and different flows that are managed, and you need a way to manage that and scale that over your enterprise. On top of this, the Power Platform actually comes with a center of excellence and governance model built into it that you can deploy for your business to ensure you have consistent governance and processes, all built on the Power Platform of all things. So it's really going to give you a lot of business benefits, but you're also going to be able to ensure there's good governance and security around this, again, instead of going out to third-party applications and platforms. And this is really one of the key things about this platform that makes it safe and secure. What Microsoft offers around this managed environment is something you're not going to get from other low-code vendors. That's what Kyle Davis at Gartner said. You can see that 91% increase in security and visibility around data connections. 81% of it saw value in improved IT governance, and there are over 5,000 environments that have been activated today on the Microsoft Power Platform. So think of this as something that could really be built around addressing your needs while it is safe, secure, and governed by IT. And so, for today, we really wanted to run through and give you an overview of how you can use the Power Platform really to modernize your applications, access to your data, come up with strategies around this. At this point, we're going to open the floor to any questions. But if you do have questions or you want to get more information, you can definitely follow up with us. And we can give you an example. And if you maybe have some applications you're looking to develop upon, whether you're modernizing or you're trying to optimize those, reach out to us and our team, and we're more than happy to support you there. Annie, over to you.
Great presentation, Rob. Sounds like there's a ton going on with the Power Platform at Microsoft, and it's getting even better with the integration of AI. So many possibilities. We'll now open the floor to questions and answers. Remember to enter your questions in the questions and answer manager at the top of your team screen. And I do see we have one question in the queue for Rob. How do you recommend limiting users from productionizing applications in the default environment that is open to all makers?
It's a really good question. So part of that is really training and training people not to build applications that go into the default environment, but also setting governance rules and controls about who can publish applications out. You may even, we have some organizations that have put processes in place where makers can't publish the application. The application can only be published out by IT, but they can certainly create it and put it into test, and you would move it into production to keep it out of a default environment. So there's certainly some processes, procedures, and potentially some technology you can put in place to support that.
We will wait one more moment to see if anyone else has a pending question. If there are no more questions, we can move on. If you or anyone in your organization is looking for help or guidance with the Power Platform, do reach out. Projility provides planning, deployment, and support services around the Microsoft Power Platform designed to help you use improved use and adoption of these technologies. Additionally, you can visit our website, which has a series of blogs, as well as our YouTube channel that includes tons of great videos on the topics related to components of the Power Platform. Reach out via email, info@projility.com, if you'd like to talk about your specific needs. Thank you once again for joining our webinar today. We appreciate your time and look forward to seeing you online for our next session. Have a great day.